can't tell you how thrilled I am to have you here today for our Thrive in 2025 Success Summit. I'm so happy you're here because this is where you absolutely need to be if you've been waiting for the perfect time to launch your writing career. Today, we're going to share some breaking news that could make 2025 the most opportunity-filled year for writers yet, and the steps you should start taking today that will not only set you up for success now, but will lay the foundation for long-term success in your writing career. And of course, as promised, you're going to hear from incredible writers who were once right in your shoes where you are right now and who can't wait to share how they made the leap into successful and thriving writing careers. But first, let's talk about why this moment is so important and why you need to lean in and pay very close attention. It's because the last time we made a prediction this bold, where we told any aspiring writer who would listen that this is the time to launch your writing career, we were 100% right. And yes, there are a lot of new writers out there who were glad that we did, because let me explain for a minute. For over 27 years here at AWAI, we've been saying the same thing. Copywriting is one of the most lucrative, rewarding, and in-demand careers out there. And it's true. Year after year, the opportunities have grown in ways we couldn't have even imagined. But there have been moments in history where the opportunities for writers weren't just growing, they were surging. A time when the demand for copy far outpaced the number of writers who could write it by a long shot. One of those moments was just a few years ago in late 2020. Back then, we made a bold prediction, much like the one that we're making today. We declared 2021 would be the year of the writer. Why? Because of a phenomenon that would later become known in our industry as the leap. The leap happened when the pandemic hit and millions of companies were forced to move their businesses online almost overnight just to survive. As a result, the e-commerce growth that experts predicted would take 10 years to unfold happened in just 3 months. My fellow partners, Katie and Paul, expert writers that we know, and people who know our business, we all understood back then that this was like anything we'd ever seen before. And we knew it was going to, that it just had to create an unprecedented surge in demand for writers. And we were right. Take a look at this chart. You can see how the money spent on digital advertising doubled between 2019 and today, with the biggest jump, nearly 25% happening, see it right there, in 2021. That's $130 billion in new spending in a single year. And it wasn't just numbers on the chart. Writers saw doors open that they'd never even dreamed of before, just as we predicted. Projects were coming in from every direction, and the ripple effects are still being felt today. But here we are, 4 years later, nearing the close of 2024, and once again, something extraordinary is happening. Only this time, it's not just one seismic shift, it's three forces that are converging to create opportunities for writers like we haven't seen since the leap. First, companies are spending more on writers than ever before. Budgets are shifting, and demand for fresh original content is skyrocketing. To put that in perspective, when AWAI started teaching copywriting over 27 years ago, it was very much a niche industry. Copywriters were well paid, but only a handful knew about the opportunity or had any way to learn the skill. Then AWAI came along. Then the internet came along, e-commerce, copywriting became a thing. Early online adopters started to see the power of good writing, and the amount of money paid out to copywriters began to grow, eventually hitting the billion-dollar threshold. Jump forward to 2023, just a few years after the leap I just told you about, copywriters were now being paid $25.29 billion, according to research firm Coherent Marketing Insights. Here's the start of that report. And here's what's startling, but frankly, great news for you. You see it right here. Money paid out to copywriters is projected to jump to $42.22 billion by 2030. That's $2.8 billion more spent on copywriters each and every year for the next 6 years. And you heard us talk about this. This could be enough to supply 28,300 more new copywriters with $100,000 income each year. That alone, to me, is reason enough to consider launching your copywriting career today. But I still have 2 more. The next reason is the AI effect. Yes, it's shaking up industries everywhere, but already some are calling it AI fatigue. You've got all these cases where businesses jumped on the bandwagon thinking it was going to help them, save them time and money, only to discover the copy AI generates sounds like everybody else, including their competitors. It lacks what gives great writing its power, a human touch. So for writers, it's creating a surge of opportunity for those who can combine creativity with structure and bring a uniquely human touch to their client's copy. And then finally, a third big reason to start your writing career now is the ripple effect still stemming from the leap. Not sure ripple is actually the right term though. It's more like a tsunami. But either way, this is big and few are talking about it. So here's what's happening. Remember all those businesses that suddenly went online in 2020 out of necessity because of the pandemic? Many of them are now thriving, even kicking themselves for not discovering the power of copy and digital marketing sooner. But they're moving into a new phase. They're discovering all the various ways they can use digital marketing to get the word out about what they offer to more people, build trust and loyalty among more potential customers, land more new customers, keep current ones more engaged in buying, and generate more sales and profits. Now, why does this matter to you? All of these new marketing techniques and strategies require new copy and new writing projects they'll hire writers like you to write. So recapping it all, there's the $16.9 billion more copywriters are going to earn, the new demand for writers who can save companies from crippling AI fatigue, copy that's vanilla and the same as everybody else is, all the new and sophisticated ways companies are using copy and digital marketing these days. It's all adding up to a once in a generation opportunity, one that we think will be even bigger than the opportunity we saw just a few years ago, which was driven by one single event. And which is why if you ever thought about becoming a writer, this is the time. But here's the thing. Opportunities don't mean much unless you're ready to seize them. That's why today isn't just about what's happening behind the scenes. It's about how you can take advantage of it. Just ahead, I want to present you with an amazing opportunity, an opportunity to be part of something very special. And you have everything that you need in your hands today to make your dream of becoming a writer not only possible, but inevitable. And why wouldn't you want that? Why wouldn't you want the amazing life writers have? The ability to kiss the cubicle world goodbye forever, to never again sit in a soul-crushing commute twice a day, to never have to ask your boss, can I take time off next week to visit an ailing family member, or take that vacation that you all at once decide that you need. That's what being a writer is all about. It's about having choice, being able to work on projects that inspire you when you want and under your own terms. But before I get to that, I want to introduce you to some amazing people, writers who have been in your shoes. They'll share where they started, what they did to get moving, and the one action that made the biggest difference in their success. You'll hear many of them talk about the writer's life I just mentioned, how they have all this kind of freedom now that their other lives could never give them. But most importantly, they're going to share their best advice on how you can move forward so you can walk away with clear, actionable steps to start your own journey and make 2025 the year everything changes for you. So are you ready? I am. Let's dive in.
Hi, my name is Mindy McHorse, and I work as the executive editor of Barefoot Writer magazine, along with being a copywriter for several independent clients. And I first joined AWAI back in 2007 when I was desperate basically to retire, even though I was only in my 20s. But I had a job that I disliked so much that I was already dreading having 40 years of torture ahead of me. So I heard about copywriting. I heard it was a great opportunity to be able to write, which I loved doing, to earn a great living, which was going to be pretty necessary since I couldn't stay in that current job, and to have a really flexible schedule, which at the time was important to me because I had two little dogs at home that I wanted to spend more time with. Now I have four kids at home that I want to spend time with for the most part, but also really need a flexible schedule to be able to juggle all of their needs. In fact, right after I finish chatting with you, I'm going to go take my son to the doctor. Although on normal days, I would perhaps be going to meet a friend for lunch or be going out for a run. I really value that flexibility. I really value being able to write about things that I enjoy, and I don't ever have to take on projects that bore me to tears, which is what I was navigating before I found copywriting. So my best advice to you is, number one, just listen to all the people that you come into contact with through AWAI. They're real, their stories are real, their successes are real. They've messed up, they've picked up, and they've gone forward again. And really, I think that's the take-home message, is to do it scared, do it messy, but above all, just do it, and you will get to where you want to be in the end.
All right, we're officially underway. You just met Mindy McHorse, who happens to be the editor of our Barefoot Writer magazine. I thought it was interesting that she talked about having you connect with other writers.
True Mindy fashion, do it scared, do it messy, just do it. And, over Mindy's career, she has seen it all. She's talked to so many amazing writers, and I'm just excited you're going to meet some of them in the next few minutes, hours that we're together.
And I love that. I would echo that as well. It is scary, right? Because this is something brand new for you. And so if you're feeling scared, it's a good thing. It's supposed to be there, but just to go ahead and go for it. It's never going to be perfect. It is going to be messy, and that's okay. It's kind of part of this learning process. So very excited for you watching us today and participating, but let's go ahead and jump on into our next success stories, Jeff and Rebekah.
All right. We'll see you on the other side.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff Stasiuk, and I've been an AWAI member since 2020, give or take. Before I found AWAI, I was a corporate professional B2B salesperson, sales team leader. And I'll tell you, it was a high stress, high energy, 24/7, 365 days a year type job. And I was staring at the official retirement age of 60 to 65, and I knew that I couldn't last at that pace and wanted to try something different. I'd always wanted to be a writer, and I never really told anybody that, including my wife, but I always wanted to do something in writing because I thought it was fun all the way back since high school. At any rate, I found myself needing copywriting, copywritten skills, copywriting skills for my work because our sales enablement tools in the companies that I worked for didn't cut it. They weren't being effective, or my sales people were finding them less than useful. So I found myself having to rewrite them, and I found myself rewriting them poorly. So I ended up looking around for how I could get training in it, and I needed it now, and I needed it to be good. So anyways, I found AWAI. I think I saw them in an ad, grasped it like a lifeline, and started taking courses, and realized that I could use those skills in my immediate work. And I wasn't being paid for the copywriting, but I did get me and my sales teams to have rapid increases in sales because of the tools that I helped create. I put a few marketing noses out of joint doing it, but such is life. Anyways, I realized that I could probably take that skill or those skills and apply them in the next phase of my life. So when I eventually left my last corporate gig, I had at that point one or two clients that were paying me for copywriting, and I started to expand my client horizon. And I haven't kind of looked back. Right now, I enjoy my days. Starting from when I get up, I'm excited, I'm motivated, I'm charged up to actually do writing. And I like it because it's practical writing for salespeople. And that's my niche. That's my superpower, my strength, if you will, what I do well, because I have such experience in the sales world. But my days are my own. I get to see my grandkids when I want. I just move project work to late at night if I have a deadline. I can exercise when I want instead of doing it at 4 o'clock in the morning before when I had the corporate gig. So I have a lot more flexibility in how my day turns out. Just put yourself out there. I firmly believe in the 80% rule. You don't have to be perfect in any of the particular skills in copywriting. You're going to be better than 99.99% of the people out there with just having the basic or initial course level of knowledge. So pick what you do, pick what you like to do from a copywriting perspective. Put yourself out there as someone who is an expert in it, and just try to get opportunities to write in it. And my next little corollary on that is tell everybody you know, past employers, friends, family, your barber, your hairdresser, whoever, what you do. And that will be, in my opinion, the way you're going to get your first bit of business. Is where you're going to get your feet wet, whether it's paid nothing, paid a little, or paid the fair market going rate. That's where you're going to find the business, because you've already got that warm relationship with those people. And the last part of the advice, make sure you have a short and succinct elevator pitch on what you do and who you help. Because I guarantee if you tell someone, hey, I'm a copywriter, they'll go, what the heck is that? So tell them who you help and how you can help them in a short sentence. And then ask, do you know anybody that could use my help? And don't be afraid to say that. So just get out there and do it.
My name is Rebekah Mays. I have been a copywriter since, it's the beginning of 2017 end of 2016, beginning of 2017, where I discovered AWAI, discovered copywriting. Before that, I had been doing different things, but I had been mainly teaching English as a second language. And I had traveled a little bit because of that. So I was actually teaching English in Prague, which was awesome. So that's in the Czech Republic. And then went to grad school for a year, and I was trying to figure out really what I wanted to do with my career at that point. And I thought teaching, might be in the books. Had done some writing and kind of a little bit of journalism, a little bit of blogging with all my travels, but didn't really know what the right career was for me when I finished grad school. And I had like $30,000 of student debt for my new graduate degree. So I was basically in my parents' house for the holidays, trying to figure out what to do with my life. And somehow I think I got on the AWAI mailing list and heard about the opportunity, signed up for one of the programs, and pretty quickly just started trying to apply what I was learning to actual copywriting jobs. And it really started out in different family businesses. So there have been a lot of things, in between, but in terms of kind of so that was 2017. And in terms of where I started, where I am now, now I'm a full-time freelance B2B content marketing strategist and writer. So I have been, full-time freelance with really my own business, own set of clients. I'm in my third year now of that. And in terms of who I serve and kind of what I do for those types of clients, if that's interesting to you guys, I serve climate technology clients. So this is companies in like software and hardware that are trying to address climate change and all the weather changes that we're seeing. And I support with content marketing strategy. So helping them kind of plan their content and what do we need to do to move the business forward. And I also support with ghostwriting sometimes. So writing for executives on LinkedIn and on their websites, and then company content as well. So I've really been enjoying that. And then in terms of what advice I think I would give to anyone who's really just starting out on their copywriting journey, I think I would go back to how I got started, which is, I think as you're taking maybe some initial courses or learning about the opportunity of copywriting, I would say just start kind of looking for the opportunities around you. Start trying to see the world from a copywriting perspective and from a marketing perspective as well. And you will notice, just if you start thinking about the businesses around you, so maybe it's, a family business, or your friend has a business, or someone, your kids' parents have a business, right? All of these companies that you're connected to, your local companies and other products and services that you enjoy buying yourself. Start seeing what kind of things they do in their marketing, what kind of copywriting they put out there, what do they do on social media, what kind of emails do they send, right? There's so many ways that we see copywriting and so many places where we see marketing happening. And so I would just say start paying attention to that, because what happens is when you start seeing how you could potentially help some of those companies. And especially when you see that in your own kind of vicinity and, and the people that you're already connected to, those might be some of your first clients. And I know that's how it was for me.
Hearing from those two writers already, I'm so excited. Let's start with Jeff, Katie. I mean, always wanted to be a writer, right? Hands up, everybody in the audience.
Yeah.
We've all wanted to be writers for so long. I love that his company that he worked for was his first client, and that he took on clients before he left his job. He was already ready to go and working as a freelancer before he made that leap. That's totally acceptable, guys. You can start with your potential. Your first client might be the person you're already working for, or you could be building on the side. It doesn't have to be a wait for all your ducks in a row and make this gigantic, scary leap. I also loved his advice. I mean, it kind of dovetails with what Mindy was saying about being messy. Stop procrastinating. Like, don't worry that you're not good enough. You will be good enough eventually. And part of it is learning. I love that he talked about telling everyone that you know, which is funny that was part of what Rebekah said. And then just making sure that you have that elevator pitch. One thing I wanted to share everyone watching is that the AWAI website is a treasure trove of resources and information. If you just go to our website and put in elevator, you will find instruction on how to create your elevator pitch. So we'll be sure to give you those resources as we go through this and people have new ideas. Katie, what were you thinking about Jeff?
Oh man, so much. But the first thing is how he leveraged his experience, his life experience, his business experience. And we've seen that so many times, but you don't have to jump into a brand new pool. he has all this great sales experience. He knows how to talk to B2B people, people that are in the health field or the legal field or the accounting field or any field. You guys know how to talk to people that need your help, which is the other thing that I loved about Jeff and is at the heart of copywriting. He's looking at how he can solve problems. He positions what he does as helping his clients solve problems. And that's what copywriting is. That's why companies hire us. It's because we help them solve their problems. We help them engage, communicate, educate, all of that. And I think Jeff is just a great example of that in motion, in action.
That's such a great takeaway. Write that down, guys. Your job is to solve problems. Like, what an amazing superpower. And we get to do that through writing. Like, so good. So now let's
help companies be more profitable, and just think about what that means for the company, for the employees, for the economy, for the community. It's really this trickle down impact that a lot of people don't think about.
It's kind of overwhelming and exciting at the same time.
And exciting. But you know what? And I just want to jump to what Rebekah said about having that copywriter mindset, that marketer mindset, those eyes. Once you learn the stuff, you can't undo it. It's like you always say, Rebekah, once the bell is rung, once you start seeing copywriting in action through all the company's websites, emails, everything, sales letters, anything that is written basically is written by copywriters. And once you start seeing that and you see the opportunity, you'll see all the different ways you can help these companies.
I want to touch on Rebekah also because, I met her when she first found AWI. She was actually in Austin, and she came to an AWI happy hour, and she shared the story of like knowing her first client. It was she did work for her father. And what I love about that story is not just that the job was close by and that she already had this in, but how it grew from there. It was such a small job. And when I met with her and when she first got started that first year, the projects that she was taking on, they were smaller in nature and she was growing slowly. But the key was that she never waited. She just got in and she kept on going forward. And I find it amazing, her niche now being climate change and things like that. Like, it's so cool because most writers think that they have to pick this niche. They got to make this big decision before they move forward. But the reality is you just got to get started and the niche will find you. So while niching can be great and is for her now, she didn't wait for this moment to finally get going, get started to grow. She's been working. She's been making money for a long time and finally is now in this new stage of her career. So that was very exciting for me to hear.
And the other thing about Rebekah, and again, we have known her since 2017 or so, is at every stage, at every mark on her career, on this ladder that she's been on, she has just had a curiosity about what's next and what's coming and what's available, what's possible. She's an avid learner, but she really, anytime she has a chance to talk to us, she's asking questions that just show she wants to learn, and with the goal of what she's learning, how she can then convert that into information, materials, conversations that can help companies grow and all, and help herself just from a intellectual and all the writers that you're going to be meeting, everybody, they're all curious, they're learners, and they're sharers. So I think that's just.
Well, I thought that was a great hidden takeaway. Again, you're good at uncovering all these hidden takeaways, and that is the ask questions. So you guys have these great opportunities to attend events like this, to be in our webinars, to be in our Facebook groups and things. Ask questions, take advantage of it. You don't have to know all of the things that are in front of you. You just have to know the next thing. So if you think of it that way, the next step in your writing journey, just ask that next question. And then hopefully things like this, where you get to see people who are way further down the path, that's great too, because you know where you're going. But for you right now, it's just your next step. So make sure that you take advantage of those opportunities. We've been doing this for so long, over 27 years now. There's not a question we can't answer. So if you have a question, reach out and let us help you. All right, ready to jump on to the next ones? Let's see who we got next.
Let's go.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jen Adams, and I have been an AWA member since 2003, although I did not take action on what I was studying until 2008. I was working full-time in human resources before I found AWAI, and I was always too busy. I wanted something that was more flexible and gave me more freedom because I was always working, and I was sick of the long hours, sick of the always on culture. And AWAI offered me a chance to have more freedom to travel and to spend more time with my family. So in the years since I became a full-time writer, I have traveled all over the world. I lived for 6 years in Ecuador before moving back to the States and moving around so we could be close to family. And now I spend my days writing amazing books, if I do say so myself, amazing books and sales letters for business thought leaders in all kinds of industries. And I am able to shape my workday around my family's priorities. And I get to spend tons of time with my kids and taking care of my parents, which is very important to me. So if I was starting out today, knowing what I know now, I would have started sooner. That demanding boss, that demanding job, that career that's sort of crushing you, even as you're giving so much, it is always going to try and take more from you. And so if you want a life of your own, a life where you're in control, then writing is an amazing option. And I recommend it to anyone who is looking for more freedom and flexibility in their life.
Hello, I am Chris Allsop. I have been a member, and this is hard for me to believe, since 2006 with AWAI. I found AWAI by when I was working, and I was working full time, and I had a family, and I just wanted more flexibility. And I'm also the type known to push myself, to stretch myself. And this, when I saw the letter, if you can write a letter like this one, I think like that I got in the mail, I thought, yeah, I could do that. And away I went. So I was working full time at a local university at that time as a fundraiser in fact, focused mostly on the Faculty of Engineering. So, however, I had a family, 3 kids, and yet I went down the pathway. I loved the learning. I loved what I was learning. I loved the boot camp and all of that, everything. I loved AWAI. And eventually I just kept learning and applying, and then learning some more, and then applying it, and then learning some more, and then applying it. And in 2000, so I did all this while I worked full time. And then finally, a family thing kind of kept me at my job for a bit. And then I decided to leave my job at the university and go to work with Weiss Research, which is a financial publishing company with Clayton Makepeace. Learned a lot there. And when Dr. Weiss decided to downsize the company, I left. And now I'm writing sales letters, usually, especially in the alternative health world. Yeah, and I love it because it gives me the flexibility to enjoy both writing, but also be able to take the time that I want to take for my grandchildren, who I always say are my hobby. They really are. I don't have much time for any other hobbies. Also, too, just life in general. But one other thing that I have found is that by having flexibility, I've been able to do, how do I put this? Being an entrepreneur is a growth opportunity. You stretch yourself. I think there's just no other way to put it. You can stretch yourself a lot, or you don't have to, but I'm on the stretch side. And that really led me into situations that helped me to grow, evolve, I think, as a person. I've had, been able to work helping an organization, an international organization that loves service and family, and friendship is their motto. So that's been wonderful. I've been able to travel to India, being able to do things like that with the flexibility that I have is awesome. And and I think my advice is one of the most important things I've learned is the human touch. I think you need, and when I started out, I worked for people that I knew. I just asked people that I knew, do you need help? They often obviously had businesses of different types, but that's what got me started. But as you go on, people today could be all online. and that's okay. They're still people you know, and they're great to get started with. But don't forget local businesses too. If you frequent them, ask, do you need help? And then after you're done, no matter how far you get with the client, always ask, after you're done, is everything, how did it work out? Is everything okay? Be sure to thank people. All of that human touch is really important. Talk to your friends, talk to acquaintances, colleagues, and you will network, I guess, is the bottom line, but try to do it with people as much as you can, because that human touch in this day of AI and all of that, I think we're starting to see people really, really appreciate it even more. So that would be my advice. Reach out, especially if you're just getting started, and approach people, talk to people you know, and ask them, hey, how can I help?
It's so funny what Jen shared about it taking 5 years to actually take action from the time that she met us, to the time that she actually started doing things. I think that's the reality of life for a lot of us. Like, we want something, but the reality is we got to want it bad enough to actually do the things, to take the action. So while I love that she is successful today, imagine if she had started sooner. So if you're waiting on this, like we've said in a few of the interviews before, the timing is never going to be perfect. But as I shared at the beginning of this event, the timing is pretty perfect right now in 2025. I also want to talk about Chris. You know, she talked about this idea of, I kept learning and then applying, kept learning and applying, kept learning and applying. And I love that. I want to point that out to you all, that that's what makes this career so awesome. Like, we get to learn new things for the rest of our lives. Every time we learn something new, our value is increasing. The things that we can offer to clients increases. We don't have to wait to learn it all. It's just every time we learn something, our value rises. And unlike most professional careers, we don't have to learn it all before we can start making money. We can learn something, apply it, like Chris said, and get paid. Learn something else, apply it, get paid more, and continue to grow this career, which I'm so glad that she brought that forward.
And she learned on her job. So there's that, that's a very real way of doing this as well. Working for the company that you are, applying what you're learning to what you're already doing. And you just never know where that can lead to. But the thing that really struck me about Chris is when she first heard about this opportunity, she was like, yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I can. And, if anybody listening is feeling like, yeah, I can do this, or yeah, I want to do this, I just hope that will stick with you and motivate you. And you will see that, yes, you can do this. It's learnable. It's has so much potential, and it's so darn fulfilling.
So darn fulfilling, and so many different kinds of people, no matter who you are, as you're going to see, it doesn't matter where you come from, what your background is, how old you are, how young you are. Like, really, it's such a great opportunity for everybody. And then 2 more things that Chris brought up that I thought we should just make sure everybody has on their notepads. One was going local. You do frequent businesses all the time. What professional service providers do you encounter? Do you have an accountant, right? Do you go to a veterinarian? Like, all of these people that you're already interacting with, paying money to, these are opportunities for you to get potential clients. So the idea of going local is an option. And then the following up with a human touch. I think in this world of digital, and we're moving so fast and we're doing all of these things, we do business with people that we like. We do business with people. And so if you can incorporate you as a person into your writing business, it fulfills everything. It fills you, it fills them, and allows clients to really see you as a trusted ally, as somebody who's in the boat with them, rather than just this person who's looking to get something from them. Remember what Katie said earlier, you help. Like, this is your job, is to help companies. And layering in that human touch, I think, is such a great piece of advice.
And, Rebekah, again, that's on the business side, but there's also on the writing side. One of the things that we teach, it's a fundamental, is you're writing, you're communicating with one person, and you're talking to them in a way that they can relate to, meaning you're bringing that human touch, that human concern, that human empathy to all your writing, to all, it's just baked into this business at every single level, at the actual work that you're doing and with the people that you're working with. So I think that's pretty special as well.
I agree. All right, let's keep it going.
Let's go.
Hi, my name is Dave Sharpe. I have been with AWAI since about 2009. About that time, I was just coming out of living in my sister's basement. I had made some bad business decisions, and my family and I had gotten stuck in my sister's basement for a year while we were trying to figure things out. And about the time I joined AWAI, I was a stay-at-home dad, and my only work was teaching guitar lessons at a boarding academy nearby. I joined AWAI and started on this journey of content marketing because I needed to make more money. I needed to be able to provide for my family. And so I made the jump, made the commitment, and got started. Now in 2024, I am the manager and a writer for a $1 million marketing agency. We specialize in content marketing and search engine optimization. And I've had, over the past 12 years, I've had the opportunity to hire and train many writers, and AWAI is always my go-to resource for writers. And if I'm not picking up writers who have already been trained with AWAI, I make sure that I run them through the training because it's just that good. And in addition to having the income that I need and the flexibility that I need for my family, I'm also able to take care of my father, who is now in in-home hospice care. And it has been relatively easy for us to make that transition. If I were starting over today, knowing what I know already, in addition to joining Circle of Success, my one piece of advice would be to read and internalize 2 books. They're both by Steven Pressfield. One is called The War of Art, and the other one is Do the Work. These 2 books have been really, really helpful for me as I have been on my journey because it helped me understand the nature of my internal resistance. If you can't put your butt in your chair and create content consistently day after day, you're going to struggle in your career as a writer. Steven Pressfield's books help give you an understanding of what's going on with the resistance, the lengths that your mind will go to play tricks on you to get you to not write. So I found them to be very useful.
Hi, I'm Pam Foster, and I've been an AWAI member since, 2005. Before I joined AWAI, I had worked for 20 years or so in corporate America, and honestly, I was pretty miserable and fed up with cubicles. And lo and behold, this one day I get a mailing that says, "Can you write a letter like this one?" And I was hooked. I wanted to know more, and I saw it as a way to get out of cubicles and into a life that I really wanted. So I joined AWAI, and I never looked back. I actually then became a staff member in 2015, 10 years after I joined. And today I work for AWAI, but I also have a freelance business that's been thriving since I discovered AWAI, and it's in the pet industry. So now I get to live the writer's life of my dreams, working with pet industry clients and working with other copywriters. Know that you have value, even as you're beginning to learn, because so many companies don't have any idea how to make their websites, their emails, anything resonate with their potential customers. And you will know how to do that. Anyone, people in your neighborhood, people in the niche market that maybe you work in now, or even companies that relate to an interest you have, such as gardening or RV camping. Just go for it. Give it a try. Tell everyone you know what you're doing, and you'll be surprised how much fun this world is.
Such great stories. Again, I think from Dave's, one of the takeaways I want to share with you all is this idea of an agency. So if you're not familiar, an agency takes on work from multiple clients, and then multiple writers are taking on this work. It all started for him because he found he was good at getting assignments. And so for Dave, he didn't want to say no to those assignments. So he hired someone to help him. And then he kept getting more assignments that he could handle. Then he needed to hire more people to help him. And that is how this agency grew. It is something that you should think about for the future. It is a path that you can take. You could just work for yourself, or you could have people working with you to help you grow and take on more assignments. So agency is something that we talk about a lot here. And you'll find, of course, I told you I would bring up AWI resources. If you go to our website and write the word agency in our search bar, you'll actually find a full hour-long webinar about both building agencies, but also working for agencies. That's an opportunity for you, would be to go work for someone like Dave, who is taking on clients, and the fact that he hires and trains AWI writers. Well, it's definitely a bonus. I also loved Katie. I mean, we hear this from so many stories, taking care of his father. Like the story of growth and success is great, and we love to celebrate that. But man, being able to
Yeah.
take care of your loved ones, he's taking care of his father. We've heard so many stories from ailing family members, children, like just the ability to be able to be there.
And not have that stress on top of whatever stress the situation is causing to, it's such a gift to the family member as well as to yourself to not have that additional stress. So yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, I just love everything about Dave. It's just so great. And that he ends with a book recommendation or 2 book recommendations, which we both read. And that's the thing. Writers write, writers read, writers share. And this is all part of the, it's part of the AWAI community, sharing even at this level, like, hey, you got to read this book. It's going to help you with this or that, or you got to watch this, or you got to see that, or you know what, I tried this, you want to try that. We have the best, most active, generous community that just likes to get in there and talk writing and talk the writer's life and everything about it. So
our Barefoot Writer community is such a great community for sharing those kinds of information, those insights and ideas. But I thought it was interesting that his recommendations for those books, like you said, we read them both, and there's so many great books out there. But the reason he recommended those 2 books was from the word resistance.
Yes.
And that is something that we know, we see it, and it's something that we have in us from time to time, this resistance, like, why am I resisting moving forward? I love what he said about if you can't put your butt in the chair and create content day after day, like that's the reality. So if something is holding you back, if you're feeling a form of resistance, these books can help you move forward. Just even acknowledging it, like, what am I resisting and why am I resisting that? I think is one of the things that stands in the way of most people achieving what they want really in life, as well as in this career. And then, of course, Pam Foster, our very own.
Yes.
She's now, she was a member, she still is a member, but she's also now our learning chief. I remember Pam came to me and said she was a member, she was a success story, and I was interviewing her. And after the interview wrapped, she's like, so Rebekah, this freelance thing, the writer's life, do I have to be a freelancer? Do I have to work for myself? I'm like, Pam, the writer's life is anything you want it to be. You can do anything. She's like, okay, great. Because I really like working with a team. I want to be part of a team. And that's kind of how we started our conversation of having her do work with us.
Part of our team.
Yeah.
And, and the perspective, she actually works on helping our product development team create the products that you need, real world, proven, knowing exactly what it's like. She's in the trenches. She still has her freelance business as well as working for us and guiding and shaping what we teach. And she is like an amazing mentor as well to up and coming writers. It's just part of her role here. It's part of really, again, what AWAI is all about and kind of what you get with the community.
I think she's actually mentored our next story.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and get on over to E.G.
Okay, great.
Hi, my name's E.G. Orren, and I have been a member of AWAI since April of 2020. Before I heard the word copywriting and found out about AWAI, I was actually a music photographer. And I wasn't even really a music photographer because I was injured and I wasn't able to work. So I was just kind of a stay-at-home bum waiting to get better. And then my first day back on the job, so to speak, the phone blows up because COVID hit and there goes the music industry. Everything got shut down. Literally, as I was putting my long johns on, getting ready to shoot a benefit hockey game with musicians and actors for the Canadian version of the Grammy Awards. So there I was, literally one leg on and one leg off, going, what do I do now? And I, slink back home into the basement of my mom's house. And that's when I discovered AWAI. And that's when it was the very first launch party, actually, April of 2020. And I'm like, well, doing the math, do I have room on my credit card for $49? Because it was that desperate for me, because the conversion, I'm in Canada, so add 30 to 40% on the exchange rate. And I'm like, well, I've got to do something because what I was doing was not working. And fast forward to just over 4.5 years later, I've got the flexibility to make my own schedule, pick my own clients, charge my own rates. And I am not beholden to having to fit my life around somebody else's schedule. I now fit other people and clients around my schedule and my lifestyle. So really, if you're just getting started now, or if you're restarting, I would say the best thing to do is to just start talking to people. Tell them what you want to do and why. Because nobody's going to expect you to have all the answers to all the questions. And if you consider marketing in general is literally, let's test one thing to see if it beats what's already the control. So you're never going to get perfect. You're always going to get, is this going to work better or is this not going to work better? So just start talking and you'll find some things that work better and some things that don't.
Hi, everyone. My name is Edgar Morales, and I have been an AWAI member since January of 2024. Before I found AWAI, I was doing case management for a public housing agency. And while it is meaningful work, it is not my true passion. I needed to pursue my real passion, which is writing. And I'm still in the process of transitioning out of my 9 to 5. But now, since I discovered AWAI, I do spend my evenings writing newsletters, blog posts. I do multimedia work, and I do help business owners connect with their audiences, which has been fantastic. Nothing better than to see your work on a video or on a page that somebody uploaded that is not just your content, but somebody else is using your content. So that's very gratifying. So that feeling that I had that I was not being creatively fulfilled is gone. I'm definitely keeping my hands full nowadays. And if I were starting out today, what I would tell people is to focus on one thing. Focus on one thing and get really good at it. Because believe me, there is plenty of work for everybody on any of the areas and the classes or the different disciplines that are available in AWAI. So focus on one thing, maybe two, and then the rest will follow. The rest will follow, and dare to dream. Dare to dream and keep working on making your dreams a reality because it's possible.
Well, my name is Elliott, and I found AWAI in August of 2017. I was a single mom homeschooling my daughter who had ADHD, and I was very tired of living paycheck to paycheck. And I stumbled across the Great Escape Publishing Company, and they promised that I could get paid to do two things that I loved, which was writing and traveling. Well, today I have clients that I manage social media for, write the monthly newsletter. I am doing case studies, and a brand messaging is in the works here now. I know it's a new course here. And I still work my full-time job. I've been fortunate to be with this company for over 10 years, so I do have PTO. And quite a lot of it. So I do use it to manage my time. So I typically have close to an extra day every week that I am able to devote to my clients in addition to the weekend. And it doesn't have to be that much. I could do a little in the morning or a little in the evening just to stay ahead of the game. I do plan out social media the week before. And this way I have time to do the things that I still like to do in addition. If I was just starting out, I would advise you to take one class and think really long and hard which class that you want to take, that it's something that you really see yourself doing and that you can build your business around that. You want to finish it and then look for opportunities to add value with what you've learned to people you know, and you want to talk to them and find out you want to offer the value because you want to be able to find out from them other people that they might know. You don't know who other people know.
What a super fun trio. I love that that group went together. Let's talk about EG first. We met her at launch party during the pandemic, where we created this opportunity for writers really to get out there. What we saw was massive. I think I talked about this at the beginning of the summit. We saw this massive opportunity coming in 2021 for writers, with all of these companies having to move into the online space to market and sell their products. The demand for copywriters went through the roof. It was one of the biggest times until 2025 for writers to actually enter the space. And so we met EG at what we had back then called Launch Party. It's actually launching as part of one of the most important pieces of starting your career. And I know it sounds kind of scary, the word launch. It sounds like a big deal, but really it's just taking that first step forward. And we've actually built it into everything that we teach at AWAI, especially when you're just getting started. If you're joining Barefoot Writer, I actually have a launch program that you'll be getting as part of that opportunity, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But I really loved what she shared, Katie, about, will this work better? I think a lot of writers think that they have to have it all perfect and that they're going to send it in, and then that's what's going to decide whether they're good or not. But the reality is the market's going to decide. Not all great copy, well-written copy, is successful. It's part of it. And knowing that and feeling like, it doesn't have to be perfect. And sometimes the messy copy outperforms the great copy.
And it's not like you're being hired to write something, you send it in, and that's done. That's it. It's a collaboration. You're working with marketers. You're working with people that have the experience and know their market. And there's give and back. Sometimes there's 2, 3, even more drafts, but it's all a positive building and improving process. So I think that's really great. What I loved about EG is, I mean, she had some curveballs thrown at her. Life happened, and that's the beauty of this career that she has now. An injury, she can still work. Pandemic, she can still work. It's really so many, recession proof, all these proofs. This job is the proof of it can be life proof, life curveball proof. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say.
And then Edgar, I love, how many variations of AWAI have you heard? I've AWAI, I've heard AWAI. I think my favorite to date is AWAI, because that makes me think of Hawaii. So that was
Hawaii, yeah.
great. But I loved, he mentioned something about being creatively fulfilled. Yes. And I've been doing in my research and reading, this idea of creative fulfillment really can lead to happiness as a human. And it's a benefit we don't really ever talk about, that we talk about the money side, we talk about the flexibility and being able to work in an environment and a situation or schedule that works best for you and for your family. But that piece of like being fulfilled creatively from your job is a benefit we never really talk about.
Yeah, I love that too. And 2 other things that really jumped out at me is, I love, he's starting, he's just like this far along on his path, and he's doing emails, he's doing blog posts. These are all the starter projects that we recommend, that every company in the world needs, and they need lots of them. So they're great ways to kind of, build your muscles and build relationships, because once companies can see you can do this work, then more comes. And the other thing that I really liked what he said was, when you actually see it in the wild, when you're getting that email that you've written, or when you see the website has your thumbprint on it, or your words come to life on the screen. I mean, that's a pretty special feeling. That
use the word gratification, and
yes.
That's huge.
Yeah. So that was pretty special.
And I love that his piece of advice was about focusing, which of course then led to Michelle, who had that same advice, and that is to focus up, like stay on course. And I think Chris Allsop talked about this too.
Yeah.
We learn something, we apply it, we earn. It's not to say that you can't learn something new while you're applying, but this idea of stacking, you don't have to wait until you've learned all the things to start making money and working for clients. Like, learn something like a blog post, right? Get paid, write an email, get paid, do newsletters, and just keeping growing your business one thing at a time. And then I just loved also something that she shared, again, another insight. I hope you guys are taking notes. I'm taking notes. But this idea of using her PTO, her paid time off, to work on her writing business. I don't think I've heard that one before, but if you were to take a vacation from your job paid vacation, but instead of going somewhere, using that time to accelerate what you're trying to build here. I think that was a great takeaway that I hope somebody grabs onto and potentially gets them moving forward.
And and she's doing it in a scheduled way, which I think is really important. What I think she said every Fridays. Yeah, that's her business day. That's her writing day. And I think that's another great takeaway. You do have to treat this like a business and dedicate time and resources and let everybody in your immediate world know, say, hey, I'm at work now. The door's closed, email off, cell phone off. I'm in my writing business. So great.
Awesome.
This is so much fun. I
have
love
so many
hearing
notes.
this all, and it's just getting me all inspired again.
100%. All right, let's get more inspiration.
Okay, let's go.
Hey, I'm Jill Weberding. I have been a member with AWAI since 2022. And before that, I was a nurse entrepreneur. I've been a cancer nurse for 20 years. And I was working as an entrepreneur and knew that I needed to kind of up my level of marketing. And I really didn't know how to do that. So I had kind of dabbled with some different marketing programs. But I didn't know really what copywriting was specifically. So when I started researching copywriting, of course, I found AWAI, and I dove in deep because I really wanted, I just wanted a resource that I could trust, that I knew they were professional copywriters. It wasn't just someone, a fly-by-night who, they were doing some copywriting and now they created a program. I really wanted something that I could trust. Because as a nurse, I didn't know anything about, all the nuances, the different types of copy projects. I wanted to have a training and a place that I could go and have answers no matter what kind of copy project came my way. And a lot of them have come my way in different forms, right? So from emails to sales pages to slide decks and ads and trade show materials even. There's been so many different projects that I've done. I wouldn't have known where to start, much less finish. And what's been so great about AWAI is that I know no matter what, pretty much, people ask me for, I can go to that vault of resources and I can bank on the training that I'm going to receive, the guidance that I'm going to get, the little cheat sheets or steps of watch out for this. Like, here's some nuances that you want to make sure you include. 21-point checklist for a website. I would have never known that there were 21 points that I should be looking at when I was reviewing somebody's website. So things like that have just been, it's been my go-to. I'm in it every single day that I'm working pretty much. I refer to it all the time. And it's even if I don't necessarily go through a whole program at once, I'm constantly in and out of looking for, hey, I wonder, like, what are some more tips on subject lines or headlines, or how do you really, make a smooth transition? And I can go back into, the resource library and find, lots of examples that just kind of get me over that hump. Trying to think of what else now. What I'm doing is I've been doing, as I've gotten more into copywriting and marketing, the more I learn, basically the more I love it. And I want to learn more. And there are plenty of nuances, certainly, to learn. And I love that. I love that I'm always going to be testing and tweaking and finding out what's working now and adjusting, because it just makes you better, right? So I love that now I've kind of leaned pretty much all into the marketing side. Even nurses who I was teaching before how to be entrepreneurs and create a course, now they're coming to me just for the marketing stuff. They want to know the messaging and how do we tweak this or how do we improve that? And I can, speak to that with confidence because of the training that I've received and that I have access to with AWAI. So now I am working even more so in our own individual business, my husband's business, doing all the sales and marketing types of things. And that includes trade show materials and email campaigns, as well as UX copywriting. That's what I'm most recently getting ready to dive into, to create onboarding materials for wholesale reps, selling Christmas ornaments and magnets of all things. So this is what I love about marketing, is that no matter no matter what your interest is, no matter what it is, you can go down the street and find 10 potential clients because they all need marketing. They all need copywriting. I never thought I would be doing, marketing for Christmas magnets, but Christmas ornaments and magnets, but here I am. And it's a lot of fun, you know, because it's still about relationships and thinking about what is it that the customer wants, what's important to them, what do you want to highlight, what makes you different than the whole competition. So whether it's, you know, a fishing rod reel, or, you know, cat bow ties and accessories, or Christmas ornaments and magnets, or digital marketing, you know, whatever it is, you have an opportunity to get clients no matter what industry you're interested in. Again, 20 years of nursing, I thought 100% I'd be doing healthcare. Nope. Sometimes, but it's not just that. So my advice probably to anybody who's starting out would be stay open, stay curious, and be ready to, don't be afraid to learn new things. Surround yourself with good resources that you can trust. For me, that hands down has been AWAI, and everything that I have, from a free article to a free webinar to a program or to being part of COS. No matter what I get from them, I've got value and I can take it to the bank. So whatever that is for you, I highly encourage you to surround yourself with those types of resources that you can trust. And I would also say, don't be afraid to get started working with clients. A lot of times you're like, well, I'm not ready yet. You know, I need to get my website up, or I need to get certified. And you don't need to get certified, honestly. And you can if you want, but do that for you and for your confidence. But really, it's just about being a little bit better than the person who's hiring you, because they can see that what they're writing is not really where they want it to be. And if you can look at, you know, a paragraph, a website, a line, and say, well, I can tweak this, you already are adding value. You already know more than they do. So you can spend honestly about 30 minutes inside any kind of AWAI training and bring more to your client in whatever that project is that they're asking you to do. So I would dive in, really, don't wait. My kind of mantra is competence, you know, will breed confidence, and competence comes from repetition. So you just really got to do the thing. You got to log hours on the board kind of, you know, mentality. And stuff that I wrote 6 months ago, I'm now going, ooh, like, man, I should have tweaked this, or I should have tweaked that. And that's the way it's going to go. That just shows progress, and that you're getting better and better. So there's no reason to wait. Just start writing and start offering to help people right now where you are. I can guarantee you that you can add value and up their marketing and their copywriting game. And that's a huge service and value for them. They'll pay you for that, and they should. And so, like, that's my biggest key is just don't wait to be ready. You're never going to feel ready. All you have to be is a scooch bigger, you know, better than what the writing is that they currently have. Otherwise, they wouldn't be coming to you. So.
Hey, my name is Sean McCol, and I've been an AWAI member since about 2005, but I think it was 2003 that I got the letter in the mail, and kind of thought, wow, this is really interesting. I'd always loved writing and thought, wow, I can write. And I was in sales at the time, and I was doing financial in-home sales, traveling all over Texas. I was on the road 3 to 4 nights a week, had a new house, was doing great, had a new baby, but I was never seeing them. So when I got the letter in the mail, I was like, oh, I can do sales from home and use writing. I was like, perfect career for me. So I got the course, went through it, but I really didn't start and really apply things until about 2008. At that time, I'd become a handyman for a little bit more flexibility in my schedule and things like that. But that's about the time that I decided I didn't want to swing a hammer the rest of my life. So I just went all in on copywriting. And that was September of 2008. And within 90 days or so, I was working for one of the top financial copywriting teams in the world. And it's just been an amazing ride ever since. Now I'm freelance, and I write every day, most every day, a couple hours a day. And then I have time to do whatever I want, a lot of reading, walking, just hanging out. So that's, you know, and spending time with family and those kind of things aren't an issue anymore. So if I was starting out today, what would I tell you as in this career? One thing I would tell you is to have at least some time where you write for yourself and you build a list, a newsletter, email list for yourself, so that on those days when you don't have clients, or those months where you don't have clients, which can happen in any freelance career, that you've got something that you're continuing to work on, write on, and you've also created a possible income stream there. because you can offer things to your list and things like that. And in that area, make sure you're writing about something you enjoy and you want to read about. And that will give you a nice foundation as you build your career for B2B or financial or self-help or whatever you want to do. So that's what I would do. So jump in, start writing, start talking to clients, and just have fun.
So hi, my name is Michelle Peterson, and I've been an AWAI member since 2006. Before I found AWAI, I was running my mother-in-law's house cleaning company. It was a long-time house cleaning company, and I came in to kind of bring it into the modern world. My job title was general manager, and that meant I did everything from running the office and managing the employees, interacting with the clients, doing the counting even. But I also did this fun stuff like the marketing and setting up their website and doing the, lead generation, typically through local networking groups, women's networking groups. But I wanted to make a change. I mean, it was a great job. It was very secure, right? A family business. But I wanted to make a change because, well, I was spending a little too much time with my mother-in-law, but also I wanted to do more of the fun stuff and less of the drudgery. I wanted to build something of my own where I was the only one calling the shots with what I did, for my days, with my days. And today, that is exactly what I have. I have been enjoying the writer's life full time since 2011. And these days I spend my time writing for clients. Some of those include solo entrepreneurs, professional services, nonprofits, of course, AWAI. And I'm also building a client-less income stream as well. And on top of that, I really love being able to mentor other writers and coach professional women who work from home like me. I'm definitely the one in control these days and I control what I do, when I do it, who and for I work with. It is just what I had hoped for. Now, if I was starting out again today, knowing what I do now, my advice to you is don't wait. Don't wait for the perfect time because it will never come. Don't wait for that magical knowing everything because you won't. There's always new things to learn. I would just say start now. And wherever you are, start now from where you are. Trust that you can and will figure it out. Trust that you are meant for more. But it is up to you to have the courage to go for it and make it happen.
And we're back with 3 totally different stories. Jill, first of all, I think what touches me about Jill's story is that she was a nurse for 20 years. I think so many people think that in order to be successful as a copywriter, you have to have experience in something related to marketing or sales or writing in general. Nurse to copywriter. I mean, what cool proof that you really can come from any experience, any background, and find your place here. And then also this idea that everybody needs marketing. Every company, if there is money exchanging hands, a buyer and a seller, and sometimes that exchanging hands can be like for a service. So your veterinarian, your CPA, a place where you get a massage, yoga studios, any place money is exchanging hands, someone is buying and selling something, marketing is needed there. I think that is an eye-opening thing for so many writers. Like, when you really understand just how much copy and content goes into business. And then finally, everybody's talking so much about don't wait, don't wait, don't wait. And I think it's because we're waiting for the confidence to come. And as Jill shared, confidence comes from competence, and competence comes from experience, from writing. So just get out there, jump in, start doing. The confidence will come the more that you work. So don't wait for it to come.
I think we need t-shirts. That's our next t-shirt. And, talk about confidence. I mean, Sean is so funny. The first time I met Sean, we met Sean was at a live event. And I think he sat next to you, Rebekah, and he said, I'm really just here to see if this is real. And I mean, he had prove it to me all over him. And by the end, he's like, yes, this is real. I'm in. And he did jump fully in. It's not the typical route where, somebody gets a dream job with a major company in 90 days, but Sean did it. And, most do it more gradually, like what you're hearing and seeing from everybody today. But Sean has had such a varied career. From now he's freelancing and now he's doing coaching. And I love that he said, write about something that for yourself that you enjoy. It's great. Practice. You do it in your downtime. And most times that we've seen that writers practice this and implement it, it turns into some kind of asset for them, something that they can then monetize, which, you know, Rebekah, that's what Michelle touched on as well. So
yeah, about doing clientless. So we call it clientless business, meaning that you're writing for yourself about something, but there's no client paying you. You're making money a variety of other ways. If you search that on our website, clientless or monetizing or website, you'll find loads of copy and ideas and how-tos to do that for yourself. But yeah, Michelle talked about how she started out. I'm worried that her mother-in-law is going to be watching that video, by the way, and saying like she was spending too much time with her mother-in-law.
Insert your own mother-in-law joke here.
But she started small. I actually met her at a live event too when she first got started. And she said she was going to go home and quit that job. Like she was very excited to do that. But she started small. She started doing emails and taking on projects that were like that. And then she, as she shared, she grew into, in addition to doing client work, also doing clientless work so that she has more than one revenue stream. I think writers don't really think about that what you're learning to do for other companies, you could be doing for yourself as well. We talk a lot about this at AWAI. It's a big part of Barefoot Writer. There's actually a whole section in Barefoot Writer, if you are a member, to go grab that report that talks about how to build a clientless writing income. And then she moved on to coaching other female entrepreneurs. It just shows like the depth and the length that you start with a skill, you start learning how to write something and it grows and grows. And now she owns a clientless business and she's doing coaching in addition to her copywriting. So I'm excited to see what's next and start our t-shirt line. I'm very excited about that as well.
I am Lisa Christopal, and right now I am the B2B Writers International Managing Editor. But before I started copywriting, I spent about 35 years in the corporate world. I was doing global management. I was traveling all the time. And I was spending a lot of time doing things that I didn't really enjoy. And I was spending a lot of time working with people that I didn't really want to spend my time working with, to be, honest, right? Sometimes that was other coworkers, but sometimes it was my bosses, right? And when you don't like your boss and it's not fun to work for that boss, you start to think, are there other options or other opportunities out there? And it was about that time that I got I had been subscribing to Mark Ford's financial newsletter. And one of the side hustles he said was, hey, there's copywriting. AWAI has this program. And so I said, writing, that sounds like fun. I love writing. So I picked up at the time it was called 6-Figure Accelerated Program. And so I became an AWAI member in like the end of 2014. And I kind of started diving in and I started taking live programs and doing all sorts of things. And I really, really found that I loved the ability to choose who I worked with and what I worked on. So since that was like the thing that I was not liking about my corporate job, there's a lot I liked about my corporate job, but there were some things that I really didn't like. And copywriting offered me the opportunity to work on projects I wanted to work on and work with people that I wanted to work with. So I was really excited to make the switch over to copywriting. Right now, I'm actually doing both copywriting and coaching, business coaching, a little bit of training. So I'm kind of combining my corporate background, some of the stuff from my corporate background into my current workload with copywriting and coaching and everything. So I'm really having a blast. And I think back to when I started this journey. And I think the one piece of advice that I have for people when they're getting started on the copywriting journey is start before you think you're ready. So you have to pick up a skill. Maybe you have to pick up a skill or two, but you don't need 20,000 skills, right? You need to be able to write. You need to understand the fundamentals of copywriting and be able to write a couple of projects. And then the next best thing is to find a client or two. Test out your skills, test out how well you work as an independent operator, not taking orders from anybody or working for a boss and stuff, and then keep building your career. But don't wait until you feel like you are 100% ready to start getting clients, because I guarantee you, you never will be.
My name is Aaliyah, and I am a proud COS member and founder of an award-winning digital marketing agency. I was in a dark hole in Los Angeles, suffering, running a business that I did not love. Ultimately, to discover that I had a passion and a knack for helping other businesses grow online through digital channels. This may come as a strange little fact, but I actually don't consider myself a copywriter anymore. Though copywriting is a superpower of mine, and it is at the heart and soul of the thriving business that I enjoy today. The one piece of advice that I would give to a new and aspiring writer in the creative services field is that you've got to make the choice as to whether or not this is going to be a hobby or a profession. Now, either one of those things is going to be fine. If you want this to be a hobby, then your only KPI and measure of success is going to be the joy that you bring to the table and that you get back from doing the work. However, if this is going to be a profession, you absolutely need to be committed to doing whatever it takes to A, make sure you're profitable, and B, being of immeasurable value to the niche that you're choosing to serve.
Hi, my name is Rachel Kraft, and I've been a member of AWAI since 2012. Before I started with AWAI, I was a secondary science teacher, but I was looking for more flexibility in my life. My husband and I wanted to move around a lot, and that lifestyle just really didn't mesh well with a career in education. So I started with AWAI, and today I spend my days working with a variety of different clients, including authors, speakers, and business owners who need my help writing things like sales emails, sales copy, and newsletters. So now I'm free to live my life on my own terms. I get to travel when I want, I work when I need to, and I get to have adventures each and every single day. So for someone who's just starting out, my advice to you would be to learn as much as you possibly can about your craft. I would encourage you to focus on relationships. And the reason I say that is because almost every single client that I've earned over the years, I can trace back to a single handshake or conversation or connection that I had online. So definitely both of those will help you as you get started. One more thing I want to mention, I'm actually the moderator of AWAI's Facebook community. It's the Copywriting Insiders Facebook group. So I hope that you'll join us and I'll get to see you in there. Bye.
My name is Candace Lazar. I have been an AWAI member for about a decade now. Before I joined AWAI, I had been an attorney and I was looking for a change. I discovered AWAI, realized that there was a way that I could be a writer, which I had always enjoyed, and just dove headfirst into that. It went from being my side hustle to my main hustle. These days, I actually am not really working as a writer per se, but I have two different businesses and both of them involve a lot of writing. One of them is helping people plan their launches, and the other one is my own business where I'm planning my own launches. So this is a skill that has so many different ways that you'll use it. I never even imagined at the time when I first joined. My best advice to someone just starting out right now is to find a way to really become a specialist and become known as someone that's deeply knowledgeable about something. So I would say to ask yourself, what types of problems do you want to help people solve with your writing? That's going to lead you to a market or a niche, and then you can find out what types of writing they need, become an expert in that, and really start getting to know a particular market. So that's what I would do if I was starting out today as a writer. All the best.
It's fun and it's getting like fast and furious all of a sudden with like these single quick hits. Lisa, right? Choices. You guys, this is what it's all about, being able to have choices in your life. She didn't even actually hate her job. She just wanted more choices. And her advice to start before you feel like you're actually ready. We've heard that a few times today, but remember, they're saying it because it's so important. Everybody waited longer than they wish. I've never heard anybody say, I wish I had waited longer, but I always hear, I wish I had started sooner.
And then Aaliyah, I mean, how great is that? And I love that he used the term, which we haven't used yet today, professional in the creative services field. And that's what copywriters are. You are professionals, you have a seat at the table, and you are bringing your creative skills and input to helping these companies solve problems. I also love that he talked about, if you want this to be a hobby, that's fantastic. And it can be very fulfilling. It can be a very fulfilling hobby. But if you want it to be a profession, you have to treat it that way. And I love the fact that he tied being aware of and striving towards profitability as quickly as possible. So great advice, Aaliyah. Thank you.
Yes. And then Rachel, if you guys are joining the community for joining Barefoot Writer, you'll get to see her in what we call it our Copywriting Insiders community. She's so wonderful, so helpful. She'll be there to welcome you and bring you in. And it's really cool to see the conversations that take place in there, both from new writers who have questions and want ideas, all the way up through senior people like the ones you're hearing today who've been here for a while, helping that next generation of writers. They're just paying it forward. It was such a cool thing. But I love how Rachel focused on or told you to focus on relationships. I think we talked about this a little bit earlier today, but that human touch, the relationship, we do business with people that we want to be in a relationship with. And that is what your clients will be to you. You'll be forming relationships. It kind of takes the pressure off, right? Of being this, you think that you have to be this perfect writer, this perfect salesperson, or whatever the story in your head, but really you just have to start relationships. It's not about landing clients and getting the job. It's just starting to start a conversation.
How can I help you?
Jake, throw me a Coke.
Yeah. And then Candace, again, it's I loved what she said. This side hustle turned into her main hustle. And now her main hustle has like two arms to it, where she's working for clients and she's working for herself. I loved seeing that, the evolution of that, and how she's applying what she's learning to both of these arms. And when she talked about becoming a specialist, I did just want to touch on that. I think I don't want anyone to think that they have to be a specialist in meaning that they have to know everything about anything. I think what Candace is saying is find what your niche is, what you're passionate about, and dig really deep. Know more than other people within that world. You don't have to know everything about marketing or everything about copywriting, but if you know what's really important, what's top of mind to people in the niches and areas that you're interested in, that is going to give you a leg up. That's going to make you, it's going to help you grow your expertise and your credibility as a person that can help them solve the problems.
I like that for our shirts too. Writers go deep.
Yeah. Oh, but and also, did we have copywriting as a superpower? Aaliyah said that. Another t-shirt.
You got another t-shirt. All right, let's jump back in.
Hello, my name is Tiara Cole, and I've been an AWAI member since I want to say probably like 2005, 2006. So before I found AWAI, I was just your average college kid looking to get a degree in communications, and I was working part-time. But I was also really involved in my Bible volunteer work, which also included volunteering on construction projects. And around that time, I was just so intrigued and fascinated by the idea of traveling the world, and I was starting to travel, and I just wanted to keep doing that. I loved what I was doing with my life at that time, but I realized that in order to do the things I wanted to do, I kind of needed a job that would help me be more flexible. And the average 9-to-5 job at the time just wasn't going to make that possible. So the idea of building a freelance business really appealed to me, just because it had the potential to give me that flexibility that I wanted with my schedule. If I was starting out today knowing what I know now, I would probably say and encourage you especially to really just focus on your training and building your writing skills. I mean, I was a kid when I got started with copywriting, and oftentimes I booked jobs before I really knew how to do the project, or at least really do it well. So I made it work, but man, oh man, it never failed that I would very soon after discover that there was an AWAI training available that I wish I had gone through before, so that way I could have just felt more confident and more prepared to take on a project. So.
Hi, I'm Robert Rice, and I've been an AWAI member since 2012. Before I became an AWAI member, I was looking for survival work as an act of jobs to support my entertainment ambitions. And anytime I would get an acting job, I would have to like get rid of all of the other jobs, go do the acting job, and then come back. And that just became even more stressful. So I was looking for something, and I happened to stumble upon AWAI when I was looking for copywriting, which I found in a very roundabout way. But when and pretty quickly finished the course, put myself out on Elance back in the day, which is now Upwork, I believe, or I don't know where it landed now, but but then I got my first gig as a writer, writing product descriptions for an Amazon third-party seller. And then from there, I've just been working steadily as a copywriter for now 12 years, which is hard to believe. But yeah, now basically I still work in entertainment. I live in Los Angeles now. I both produce film and TV, and I also work as an actor. I do a lot of commercial work and also TV film. And yeah, and copywriting fills in the holes. It allows me to survive when things are, you know, up and down as they are with the entertainment business. And it's just been a really wonderful support for the life that I want. And my advice to you is dreams can be scary, but taking one step at a time is actually very doable. And if you take one step at a time, you will eventually achieve your dream. So becoming a full-time copywriter or paid copywriter might be scary, but you can always take a course. You can write a first sentence. You can write a second sentence. And each little step is going to take you closer and closer to your dream. And eventually you will find yourself getting paid to write.
Hi, so my name is Pauline Longdon, and I am a copy chief of a 9-figure business. So I started with AWAI back in 2014, and at that time I was a struggling, kind of unsuccessful copywriter with big dreams of like being a copy chief and an A-list copywriter sometime in the future. So I really need to make the change. So what I did, I joined AWAI, joined their circle of success, so that I could get close to people like Clayton Makepeace and Colleen Anglade Cole, and then find some mentors and that. I think the secret to my success is, you know, like, what did I change about the way I was doing things? Well, I got mentoring. And also the other thing that really can help you with success is to find a community of like-minded people, because let's face it, this is a very isolating and very lonely profession. So you really need to have someone on your side. And what I think you need like a curated community, though, not just a community of like other, you know, like struggling copywriters, because if you hang around struggling copywriters, you'll stay as a struggling copywriter. You need all of the levels so that you can look up and just aspire to be someone else. That's what I did. And I'm very happy to say that I'm where I wanted to be, A-lister, copy chief of a 9-figure business, the world's my oyster. And I'm so grateful to AWAI for helping to make it happen.
Hi, my name is Krista Jones. I've been with AWAI since 2001. Before I found AWAI, I was working as an environmental scientist in a job in an industry that I was not passionate about at all. I didn't like having to work from 9 to 5. I didn't like having to dress up, dresses, heels, and being uncomfortable all day. There was just no flexibility, and I really yearned for flexibility. And today I spend my days making my own hours. I write copy about things that I'm really passionate about, which are practical ways to improve our mental and physical and spiritual well-being. And that's very exciting to me. I work in sweats every day. I think I said I make my own hours, and I can work from home, which I do most of the times, but I also work wherever I happen to be. So I love that as well. If I were starting out today, knowing what I know now, I would advise you to create a compelling vision of what you want for your life, and then commit to that vision. And what I did, I would like read it every day, those types of things, but just commit to it and start to feel it. And then do whatever it is that your course asks you to do. Just do the work. And just do the work, basically. And then also follow it all the way through, complete it, and then put yourself out there, attend events, do whatever it might take to try to get the type of work that you wanted to do, what you see in your vision, and just believe in yourself. All of those things will make a world of difference. I hope that you do them, and I wish you the best of luck.
Oh my goodness, that is so much. I am almost full. I know we have a few more to go, but like so many interesting stories, backgrounds, all walks of life, and different ideas for moving forward. Tiara, starting out so young, she bypassed the college route and went directly into freelance writing, which is something that, is an option for people to not have to have. You think you have to have a college education. You don't. She just skipped it and jumped right into the working part and the learning part. Something that she said that I love is just to say yes, and AWI has everything that you need. So don't, again, worry about learning all the things. Just know that whatever a client asks you to do, we have a training program that will teach you how to do it. So go ahead and say yes. Come on over to us and get the program, and you'll get the skills that you need to do that job.
And Robert's story, it's been so fun watching his story over the years as well. But, not unlike E.G., he experiences ups and downs. He experiences curves. I mean, it's the nature of his primary business being in the entertainment industry, but copywriting has been there for him. It's been his steady, his source of steady income that lets him pursue this fabulous career that he has. I love that. And I love that he said, write that first sentence. Everybody here, write that first sentence, take that first step. That's how it starts. That's how it builds. So I was so happy to see him, and that he's in LA now, and he's just doing great.
It's been fun to actually see him in commercials.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, there's Robert in the State Farm. I also love Pauline introduced an idea that we haven't talked about yet. We've heard people talk about agencies and clientless businesses and how the skills that you're learning can elevate and take you to new places. She brought up a phrase called copy chief. And so over time, as you learn your copy skills and you become really good at what you do, an option is to chief or oversee other writers in their writing as well. So Pauline has moved up into an area of the writing world that, she's at the top of her game and is one of the best. She wanted to be an A-level writer. She made it to A-level writer and is now chiefing other writers to follow in her footsteps. And I love that she mentioned finding your tribe, finding the group of people that can rally around you and support you. Nobody understands what you're going through more than your fellow writers. But along with having friends and community, which you'll have through AWI, we are heavily invested in our community. It is the best community you will ever find anywhere in the world, writing or not. But beyond that, the reason for the event today and what we bring forward in those communities is meeting people who are further down the path than you, not just people who are where you are, who do understand what you're going through, but writers who've been there, who've already succeeded and are further ahead of you, learning from them, connecting from them, making sure that they're part of your tribe as well, so that you know where you're going with this and can get those insights, that learning curve that they've already gotten on their journey.
Like Krista, who's been with us for 24, if I'm doing the math right, 23 years, almost 24 years. And, she doesn't mess around. What did she say? Do the work. Like, you got to do the work. And I also love that she brought into something that I know is really important to her is creating the vision, but then making the commitment. And I think that's why we're all here. If you've been with us this long, you've got to be excited. You have to have a vision for how this translates into for you. And now it's about the commitment to make it happen. And that's what we're here for.
Awesome. All right, we are in the home stretch, so let's go ahead and get home.
My name is Joseph Ciccante, and I've been with AWAI since 2019. I started out taking the six-figure income course and also other programs as well, including Joshua Boswell's Christian Market course. That was one of my first programs at AWAI that I participated in. Before I found AWAI, I was involved in day jobs that had a rigid schedule, 9 to 5, something like that. And one of those jobs was a church staff role, and I wanted to make a change in my work schedule because of that rigidity. And the way my life is structured, I have kind of a unique life, and I'll go into that a little bit, but I needed the flexibility and the freedom, as AWAI has talked about. And I really love the idea of having more family time and so forth. So I spend my days, a lot of my days writing for a news and talk radio station. So everything from blog posts, social media posts, and that sort of thing. And I'm also working on my self-publishing business as well. So I'm still a work in progress in some areas, but things are definitely working out. So as a result of having a writing job and that's remote, I can basically work from anywhere. There's no, I can set my own hours and so forth. And I just find that very valuable because I'm able to, like I said, spend more time with family. I'm able to drive them to appointments when needed. I'm able to take my wife to work. She doesn't have a car right now, doesn't drive yet. She's from the Philippines, and she really appreciates having the opportunity to get out and have her own job. And I'm able to take her to that job. And also for our toddler now that we're caring for on a regular basis, and she needs my help a lot. So I'm able to, he's actually attending preschool. So he's getting on the bus. I'm able to be at the bus stop and so forth. So just to give you an idea of what my life is like now that I'm getting into these types of jobs, writing, and it's so flexible. So I'm really grateful for that. I also have more freedom for spiritual and self-care. I really take that seriously as well for my health, jogging, going out, enjoying nature, and also connecting with God for my own personal, Christian beliefs. If I was starting out today and knowing what I know now, my advice would be to choose, one or two specific niche areas, one specific path. AWAI has talked about that before because I started out, I had this, what is called a bright, shiny object syndrome. So I was kind of pursuing too many areas at once, and that slowed me down. But I have found that it really helps me accelerate toward my goals by just focusing on those niche areas. And self-publishing, for example, money-making website, ebooks. I'm getting ready to publish my second ebook this week. So things are moving along a lot faster. Whereas before, if I was focusing on like 7 areas, just a little bit in every area, and that I would not be, I'd actually be much farther along now if I started out with just 1 or 2 niche areas. And also just wanted to encourage you all to, on a consistent daily basis, continue pursuing your goals and don't let discouragement get in the way. Focus on the process. I'm very process oriented compared to how I used to be, and just focusing not on the outcomes, but what I need to do to achieve the outcomes. And yeah, that does sound like a lot of work, but you know what? It's enjoyable work. So I just wanted to encourage you all on that.
Hi, my name is Mary Gannan, and I have been with AWAI since 2002. When I first started, I had got the infamous letter from AWAI. Can you write a letter like this one, was the headline. And as somebody who had worked in nonprofits and had decided I wanted to work from home and have that flexibility with my kids, so I was trying to become a copywriter. But that letter inspired me to take classes to really understand what I was doing. And I did. I learned, I'm like, yeah, I can write this kind of letter. And the more I read, the more it made sense to me. As a psych major in college, it made a lot of sense to think about not only what I was writing, but how someone was experiencing those words. And that got me excited because it's really a conversation with your reader. And that's held true in the 20 plus years that I've been a copywriter. I spent about the first 16 years being a freelancer, which I loved, had that flexibility while my kids were growing up. My youngest was in kindergarten when I started doing this. Now they're all grown adults. And about 7 years ago, I took a call from a potential client, somebody I had marketed to. I'd often worked with agencies rather than individual clients in the nonprofit world. So one of those agencies had we called the fortuitous phone call, and ended up being hired as a senior writer with that agency. Stayed with them for almost 7 years and moved up in the ranks a little bit. And then I've also taken a new position with the new agency, and now I'm an associate creative director on a leadership path. And that has transformed how I write and what I've learned. through the years, from kind of writing solo and working with clients long distance to, post-COVID, everyone's on Zoom and, on Teams and on video, whereas lots of times I only knew clients via email and maybe a phone call. Mostly it was email. So it's been fun to be part of a team and to share a lot of what I've learned over the years. So for me, especially after doing it for so long by myself, I've definitely stepped into a role of training other writers to work in fundraising, which is my specialty. Probably have a few words of wisdom for someone just getting started. I remember sending out a few inquiries and thinking, oh, good, someone will write back. But that's not how marketing really works. So you can't have too many irons in the fire. If you have too many clients wanting your business, that's a beautiful problem to have. I think I was afraid of having that. But the longer I was doing it, the more I networked with other writers or, poked into forums or AWAI and be like, hey, what's going on? And learned, keep marketing, that you'll sell your services and keep going. And I eventually got to the point where, yeah, I had too many clients, but I learned that they would adjust schedules and they'd be like, or call earlier, hey, can we get on your schedule? So that's when you're, having a writer you can maybe pass something to also happens then. But now my days are more about reviewing copy, teaching other writers how to write copy, working on strategy with the client team. So it's a lot different these days. It's interesting and fun. And if you're just starting out, always learn. I taught a lot of what I got taught beyond my AWAI classes were free webinars and other things where I just learned about all sorts of different types of copy, how to write things. I've taken screenwriting classes and other things for my personal fun projects. And the biggest piece of advice I think I learned, because I was solo by myself, at the time, much of it I was, in the Midwest, kind of all on my own, is the answer is always no, unless you ask. And so I started asking, and many, many times was rewarded. If you ask someone a professional, brief question, they'll answer. And then I haven't had the pleasure of returning that courtesy to other, writers coming up the ranks through the years, and it's been great. I don't pour out, a page-long email to them, but asking simple questions or asking, hey, is this possible? Or do you need this other thing that I could help you with? And the answer is very often yes, but you got to ask.
Hello, I'm Charlotte Brennan, and I've been an AWAI member since 2018. Before AWAI, I worked in a marketing agency doing communications for corporations, and life was very, very busy, and I wanted to make a change because I felt like I really had lost control over my work life and didn't want to keep doing that. Today, I'm a communications strategist and writer, and I do SEO content and white papers and email campaigns and sell sheets. And I'm just really so happy that I made the switch because right now I have clients who I really, really like and admire. I'm doing work that's interesting. I have more free time, and I've also regained control of my work life. And all of this while I'm making a better income. So I am so happy that I made the switch and that it worked for me. So I'm going to explain what worked for me and why it worked. And no writer is the same as another. So hopefully writers can pick and choose and find something that works for them. So without further ado, my big piece of advice is quite simply say yes. And I will tell you what I mean by that is look beyond the details of the first project and imagine the possibilities. And I'll tell you how this mindset worked for me. And my hope is really that writers can pick and choose some ideas from this that will help them launch and grow a business. The very first project I did was a press release for a tech startup. And I had a lot of reasons to say no to that project. Technology was not at all my niche. And in fact, it was a niche I was actually afraid of because I'm not all that great with technology. And it was a very tiny project. So it felt like it was going to be a lot of work. And like I said, it was one small project. So I met with the founder and I really, really liked him. And I thought that the technology had good possibilities. So I said, yes, let's do this. And I went all in. it was a month-long project, so it was over very quickly. And what I find is that if I like a client, I make it very hard for them to get away. And I liked this client, and I really, after the first project, I really believed in the company. So I started sending them ideas about how they could generate more leads and attract attention from investors. And I just kept sending ideas. And it's really these ideas that the client valued the most. It was not the press release. It was the fact that I understood the audience, I understood what he was trying to do, and I was willing to constantly share ideas. So I just kept doing that. And I couldn't even pick up and call the client because I had only worked with him for 1 month. So I just kept sending ideas by email. They couldn't get rid of me. I was there and just kept doing that. And I can tell you that first press release led to more projects and a retainer, and then a string of referrals and new business opportunities. Today, I work for clients I really, really like, including many, or several, not many, Fortune 500 companies and well-known brands. And I can tell you that without hesitation, every single one of those clients is directly related, and I can trace it back to that very first, very small, not especially interesting press release that I wrote.
Wow. How about Joseph's story? I mean, how great is it? And, you know, as you've heard, not just once today, it's about focus. It's about that next best step. And that's what we're here for, to help you understand what that best next step can be. And I wrote this down. I love that Joseph acknowledges and embraces really that he's a work in progress. You know, none of us are ever fully baked. We're always learning. We're always getting better and doing better. And I also love how he said to not focus on the outcome, but on the process. I mean, that's something, you know, Rebekah, you and I talk about a lot just in our personal lives. It's really about the acts and the input along the way, and then what the outcome is, but as long as we're doing our best and giving it our all, then we've won.
I love that idea, like you said, Katie, about being a work in progress. And then how Mary then brought in this idea of not having too many irons in the fire. Like, it's impossible. It's a good problem to have too many clients and have to say no. So guys, reach out, put those irons in the fire, drop those lines in the water, go fishing, whatever it takes to just keep on bringing in potential business for your right. It happens forever. You'll always be looking for more opportunities and having choices, which was another big theme today, is a great benefit of being in and living the writer's life and being a writer. And then one of my favorite lessons from today, and really just in life in general, when it comes to this industry, is what Mary shared, and that is the answer is always no, unless you ask, right? So ask everyone you know, ask every client, what do you need help with? What can I do more for you? You will get more yeses than you expect. But again, if you don't ask, that's the only time it's guaranteed to be a no.
And building on that, I love what Charlotte said about, you know, it sounds like she's an idea machine. It sounds like she is constantly over delivering and just reaching out like, hey, have you thought about this? Or what about this? I mean, from the client's perspective, that's a positive. Those are emails I like to get when somebody is taking the time to think about my business, think about me, think about potential problems that I'm having, and offer solutions in the way that Charlotte obviously is. You know, she says it's all about the relationships for her. And you can see how that care and thoughtfulness is just paying off for her. Like, I mean, how wonderful was this whole day? It's, you know,
wonderful.
So Rebekah, take us home.
Thanks, Katie. Thank you to all of our members for sharing. And most of all, thank you for joining us today. What an incredible time this has been. I don't know about you, but I am leaving the Success Summit feeling more inspired than ever about what's possible for writers in 2025. We covered a lot today. We talked about the seismic shifts happening in the copywriting world right now, the growing budgets for writers rising year after year and about to swell from $25 billion to over $42 billion. We talked about the rise of AI and its unique opportunities for writers who can add that all-important human touch to copy, something AWAI has been teaching for over 27 years now. We talked about the explosive growth when it comes to all the various kinds of copy and content businesses need to maximize today's massive digital commerce opportunity, and you as a writer can bill for. And you've heard directly from 24 incredible AWAI members who once stood where you're standing now. Each one shared their journey, their struggles, their triumphs, and most importantly, the action they took that set their careers in motion, or in some cases, what they would do differently if they had to start again. This is an invaluable advice, a head start if there ever was one. But if there's one takeaway from their stories, it's this: success doesn't happen by chance. It happens when you take that first step. And here's the best part: you don't have to figure it out on your own, because the very best way to get an introduction to the big and ever-growing opportunity of copywriting, a powerful crash course in the writing skills that you need to get started, and the ongoing support to keep you motivated, is by joining the Barefoot Writers Club. This is the club and community that we created especially for new writers. If you're ready to get started, Barefoot Writer is designed for you. It is your passkey to the writer's life, where you'll find inspiration and encouragement, right? From even more real writers than who've been here today, with more detailed stories on their rise to success. You get exclusive resources that are waiting for you right now, and then delivered month after month as well, to sharpen your writing skills and help you find those paid writing opportunities. Plus, and this is huge for new writers, an active community of like-minded writers, experts and novices alike, cheering you on, answering your questions every step of the way. You'll have access to essays, interviews, writing challenges, even job opportunities tailored to freelance writers. There are ongoing writing contests where you can make a little money and get a professional byline while you learn. And here's the thing: no matter where you are on your journey, whether you're just starting out to explore this idea of writing, or you're ready to dive in with both feet, Barefoot Writer will meet you exactly where you are. Now, because you joined us here today, we want to do something a little extra special. For attendees of this event only, we're including a very special bonus gift. It's in our catalog right now, priced at $249. Something we call the 3-2-1 launch program. You'll see all the details in just a minute, along with more information about your membership. But in a nutshell, this step-by-step tutorial will walk you through launching your writing career faster than you ever thought possible, an even faster shortcut to getting started. And you won't believe how quickly it will set in place a true vision for what you want to accomplish as a writer. This gift is our way of saying thank you for taking that first important step today by being here. So the bottom line: the opportunity is here right now. 2025 is shaping up to be one of the most opportunity-rich years we have ever seen for writers, but you have to take that first step. By joining the Barefoot Writer Club today, you'll be saying yes to your future as a writer. My team has included everything that you need to know at awai.com/thrive, including everything that you get with your Barefoot Writer membership immediately and also month after month. Everything 3-2-1 launch includes your special Thrive in 2025 Success Summit pricing, and much, much more. It's all available at awai.com/thrive. Also, know this: the entire AWAI team and your fellow members are ready to welcome you, ready to make 2025 the year everything changes for you. So thank you so much for spending this time with us, and I can't wait to see you inside the Barefoot Writer Club.